wearing like Columbia, and you're not. No, I'm an OT and a certified hand therapist, and I started at St. Margaret's in the late 1980s, and I've seen lots of things change over the years.
So you were at St. Margaret's when it was at St. Margaret's?
I was at St. Margaret Memorial Hospital, so that's where I started.
So my first hip surgery, I hurt my back. I had it when they were on that top floor of that building.
Oh yeah, the fourth floor 200 building.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I was at. My clinic building. Yeah. So we were the outpatient OT, and there was outpatient PT. So yeah, that's morphed. It went from St. Margaret Memorial Hospital, then UPMC merged with us, and then we kept going. And then in 2008, they merged us into the full company, and so now I work over at Chapel Harbor. You know that. So you don't know this. You don't know what it is, right? Okay.
Yeah.
It's by the yacht club.
It is so much nicer. Free parking, lots of space.
Yeah, it is. I wish we were at the hospital though, because it's hard for people to get down to there. There's not a bus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, do they have to come down there?
No.
Okay.
So I'm at it's called Rehab Institute, Rehabilitation Institute, Chapel Harbor, and that's one big company under the UPMC umbrella, and we have clinics all over the place. So at our place we have regular orthopedic PT, we have neuro PT, that's what Shannon and Jackie worked in. We have women's health, we have speech therapy, we have what I do, OT and hand therapy. I'm trying to think of what else I'm missing, but it's a one-stop shop. That too, yeah.
No, I mean, have you ever heard of erosive arthritis?
What kind of?
Erosive?
Yeah. This would be seronegative erosive arthritis or something like that, yeah. And so you had therapy for that too?
Yeah, I did, but then I wasn't paying the co-pays.
Oh, sure.
Nobody was asking me for anything, and then I owed like $600. And what did you just say? What?
It depends on the condition. It could be a seronegative arthritis, this meaning like the blood work may be negative, but you can still have like arthritic changes that somebody might have, like with a rheumatoid type of a condition or something like that.
Well, I'm taking hydroxychloroquine.
Okay, yeah. That's Plaquenil, I think, yeah. So,
Plaquenil.
Yeah, and that helps with the immune system.
Yeah,
such, so.
Yes.
Let's see here, but so if you had hand therapy down in Canonsburg or something like that, or
At Washington.
at Washington Hospital.
Well,
I wonder if I know the therapist. Was there a lady who might be of Russian descent named Anna? Because that's one I know who works down that way. So, but we talk about that too. Just like piggybacking off what we're talking about with the showering and stuff like that, being safe is like how do you wash your legs? How do you get down to your feet?
well, I'm good so far.
But like for your knees, like to bend forward, you're okay with that? Yeah. So like you can use a back brush to go down that way. I don't have a brush with me, but so that way you don't have to do so much. I didn't bring those things, but there's that. There are little suction cup scrubbers for your foot on the floor. There's a bunch of little gizmos like that are out if you need them. In the old days, it used to be like through therapy we would have gadgets. Now it's like Shark Tanks coming up a lot. There's all kinds of new fancy things because as society's gotten older, we're still spending money and such, so they're coming up with ways to kind of get it out of us. But there's a lot of kind of cool things out there.
But where do you get these cool things?
Amazon's one of the
Okay.
places.
What do I got? Amazon cool things?
No, just go to Amazon and say foot brush or showering with arthritis or something like that. And that might come up a little bit that way. So, but so the tub bench thing might be a consideration. There's variations on that. There's ones that sit inside the tub and outside the tub.
Yeah.
There are ones that just sit inside. There's some with handles and things like that. There's smaller stool kind of things. It depends on what you need and what can work. But there's all kind of possibilities with that. But in grab bars, like I mentioned too, making sure you have something to hold on to if you need. And if there's a glass shower door or something like that, those are kind of because you have to kind of squeeze your way through them. So a lot of times people remove those just to give themselves a bigger open space. But
those ones with a slide.
Yeah.
Not going to happen.
Yeah, right. And so the frame, people will take the frame out. And in 2026 now, a lot more is like walk-in showers and things like that. Makes life a little bit better. So you have to step over your 1 foot. That's where the grab bar, if you're stepping in a tub and you're on 1 foot and you're doing that, then the stability isn't so hot. So, but if you have something in front of you, like a grab bar, then that at least can protect you a little bit that way.
I'm having my handyman Friday, I have bars, and I'm gonna say, put them on.
Sure, yeah. And those are, and it's not the shower dish, soap dish thing either, or the spigot. Because that, they come off. And I've seen it, it's crazy. But yeah, they're just plastered. So these things are actually bolted into the studs. And if you got, fancy ceramic tile or something like that, and if you have somebody who's handy, they'll know how to get through that.
Do those suction ones that you see work?
So those sometimes, if you're suctioning onto like ceramic tile, it might, the tile can come loose.
Oh, okay.
But if that's not, if it's a wall, it's probably a little more stable. And then the ones that, like on tubs, like the old clamp on handrails for tubs, if you have a fiberglass tub, I've had people crack their tub because it kind of squeezed down on that. But there's modifications.
My tub in my apartment, the bar is at the back of the tub, like the water's up here. So for however many years before I got I showered backwards. Because I would hold on to that and step in, so now my back, so for years, just shower backwards.
We adapt. It just becomes the norm.
It just worked.
Yeah, if you need to stand up and stretch at any point, go right ahead. If you need me to shut up, just don't shut up. But all that kind of stuff like that, just like these little things you pick up over the years too. But yeah, you're right. And so now they have other kind of fancy things. If you watch TV, they've got like chairs that you can inflate to get up out of the tub. They can be filled with water. Then they have the ones where you open the door, close it like a car door, and then water fills up in the tub.
People say that you have to sit in there to drain that, and then it gets cold. It's like it's
yes.
It's not.
Yes. Yeah. So there's yeah.
QVC, I think they'll have a...
Look! Yeah.
We're addicted to QVC.
That's dangerous.
Every time we watch it, we're
there are lots of things out there, and so like I said, like Google or like Amazon or Google, you type in like the condition you might have an issue with it, maybe something that comes up. Because I see lots of specialty things, like I have quilters and things like that. And now, lo and behold, there are things being invented out there that make it easier to cut, and for people with arthritis in their hand or something like that. So, so there's things out there. I'm standing there holding this. Did you ever see one of these things yet? You all know. You know what it is.
No,
I hope you don't need to know. If your hips not flexible, so if you can't bend so far, reaching down to wash your foot. Sitting is a little safer. That's what a top bench can be. If you can't get down all the way, then I don't have one, but like a long-handled sponge or a back brush. They actually have foot brushes to kind of wash the foot a little easier. So dressing, if you can't get down low enough to get your socks on, it's a sock device.
that's what you use.
So, you still use one? I was a lifesaver after the hip surgery.
Yeah,
That's when I got mine, yeah.
And you can find these then, like people use them, and then they give them away or put them in Salvation Army or something like that too.
Back in that old day, they used to give you all that when you had your surgery.
Yeah, I think they do like a kit.
Do they still?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Let's see, they make different kinds. There's one more flexible.
What's the thing on the bottom of that?
That's like a little foam, so the sock sticks to it.
Okay.
So when you slide it up.
I didn't have that.
Yeah, they used to have little black foam hockey puck kind of looking things, and it would just stick onto the sock and it would kind of slide up the leg a little bit better. But they have different kinds. There's the flexible ones and such. Occasionally I'll see something like this in at Walmart. This is one of the more common things. So,
that's true.
but not that you need this, but this is good. You hopefully don't need this at some point.
We'll see.
Yeah. So that's for socks. They're thinking about the things furthest way, getting the feet dressed, and then one of these gizmos is. It's a shoe warm. Just industrial size.
I thought you were washing your foot.
No, yes, this was This is just a general, this is showing it, that this is a long handle shoe horn. So they have, most of the shoe stores now have longer shoe horns. It used to be those little short things, but I think that people could benefit from that, stuff like that. But this is the industrial strength version.
Mine's plastic, but I use mine all the time.
Yeah,
I still use mine.
if it makes it go easier. But you see the difference now is like they're the shoes now you can put your foot in.
Yeah,
Like the kids have some Skechers and all these things like that. And then they have self-lacing shoes, and they have ones that so that's the difference. That's been in the last like 5-10 years, maybe something like that. That's become a thing. In the old days, we'd have to have like elastic laces and things to kind of go. We don't have to worry about that so much anymore.
Well, it's good.
It is. That's evolution, you know.
Shark Tank people are coming up.
Yeah. So that's that. Then this is.
Let me guess. I have no idea.
the sock?
This thing, they call it dressing sticks. There's a bunch of different kind of things you can come up with it, but it's a laminated coat hook, basically. You screw it on. So if you have a sock, you kind of push the sock down, that kind of thing like that. Or you can help pick things up. I've had people who have knee issues keep one of these in their car to pick their foot up and pick the car, all kind of crazy stuff like this. So you can create things, but yeah, dressing also can help with a coat or things like that. But all of this is like something just gives you a little bit of extension. And
what's that called? That
a dressing stick.
Oh, a dressing stick. Okay.
Not that you need that.
Not yet.
It's just a wooden. But just showing you to kind of think about things from that perspective. But you're going to keep yourself healthy. And then if something falls on the floor, using grippers, grabbers. This one I think has a little magnetic tip to it too, so it's something metal. And so these are good if you can't bend back, knee, leg, whatever. And they have variations on this too. They're all kind of fancy ones, one with suction cups and things like that. So, but if people have shoulder issues, trying to get up on a shelf and things like that.
Is that a gripper? Okay. Well, okay. You know what? If you wait a minute. Oh, there. Oh,
yeah, it opens the chest.
There you go.
I like that.
it's magic.
It's magic. So, and you see these. Yeah, they sell these too. I've seen something like this at Walmart occasionally also. So, but there's different little variations.
CVS has a whole section. CVS has.
Oh.
They do. Okay. Okay. You see, well, was it regular CVS? They had like a hip kit kind of thing with a long handled brush and things like that in there too. So.
Does your insurance cover any of this?
That's a good question. The equipment, like. If you have something done, did they give you like a little bag full of goodies whenever they had that?
A friend who happened to work in a medical supply company sent me.
Because some of the hospitals, like they gave you something, right? They give you.
I don't remember if they gave me all that stuff because I had my first one done in 2004.
Okay.
So I think it was different.
There was something like they would give people occasionally, like a long handled brush and things like that. I'm so embedded in outpatient, I don't know as much about that. The equipment typically in our world is not covered, unfortunately. They'll call it durable medical equipment. But if you have like a health savings account or something like that, there's actually, I just found this too, like on Amazon, there's like a health savings account store. And somebody broke that all up. So it'll have things like this, bottles of Tylenol and like an ultrasound unit or something like that. And it's like stuff that would be allowed to be paid for through one of those things too. So another thing is to think about from that end. But yeah, not that you need something like this, but that's something that's out there.
It does come in handy though.
Oh yeah.
Like I can't reach the salt. There's a box of salt that's on the third shelf in the pantry.
Oh, for sure. Oh yeah. So let's see here. So that's some of the.
See you, Mike. Thanks for coming. I just had to head out and get the kiddos.
All right, nice seeing you again. So I brought just a bunch of different kind of little gadgets and things like that. So talking about like getting washed and things like that. Again, I didn't bring one, but they have for back if your shoulders were bothering. They have little curved sponges you can kind of lift around. They kind of curves down and you can come wash that way. And those also are on Amazon. I need to get out a list of things. And talking about, like those are some gizmos and gadgets that are out there. There's a lot more. With dressing, there are like a lot of things now out there, again, to make money. They're gonna do this, but adaptive clothing, like instead of having the button over here, but it's magnetic, they have there's a lot. So one of my old students put together a whole listing, and this is going back a couple of years now, but like Tommy Hilfiger, Target, JCPenney, Aerie, Kohl's, Land's End, they all have different kind of things like that. There's like adapted underwear with magnets or Velcro and things like that. And then back whenever she did this, there was more about, well, there's adapted shoes too. There's a type of a shoe that zippers, it's like lace, but there's zippers along the side. So if somebody has one of those braces to ankle to have their foot, they can slip their foot and zipper it up. And it looks just like a regular shoe.
You know, they're Billy's.
Billy's, yeah.
Because I saw lady in her zipped around, the whole front zipped around.
Yeah, so there's stuff out there for that. And there's, like I said, underwear and things like that. And they have like costumes, like Halloween costumes, but I've got a whole listing of different companies like that. If ever, if I have something, you get a hold of Jack, and Shannon or Jack or something, you email me a listing or something like that. But you look around again, it's the same, like put it in on Amazon, like clothing with hand, or my hands hurt and it's hard to button when see what comes up. Because that stuff like that's out there. And so from that, and you ever see one of these gizmos at all?
Looks like a needle threader.
So bigger industrial, bigger sized ones. So back in the gay 90s, I think it was, they had button boots. That's a button holder. So that's.
I have button.
Yeah, yes, you try to slide it through one side, thread it through.
Put it through the
there you go. See, it's a sewer, huh?
we're gonna see.
Whoop, you fell off.
It's practice.
But that's how it works, right?
Yep. Get it in there and just pull through.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That is.
That does look exactly like a needle
That's
threader.
what, so like, I mean.
But that's interesting because my mother's 96, that she's having.
So in her case, there might be like, get her like a fancy blouse or two.
Yeah,
That
she can put
pullovers, the looser things for sure, or if she wanted to go more, they have like the magnetic things like that. If you look around, there'll be something out there, at least just a consideration that way. Yeah, so that's abundance. Like I said, I started doing this in the late 80s. We used to do this a lot more, but now technology's kind of changed clothing. We've become a lot more casual with how we dress, so I don't worry about button up and things like that as much either. But there's a little T-hook on the other side of this thing too, so this can fit into a button, or I mean zipper, like the zipper hole.
Yeah.
So that's one of the like little side things that goes on with that. So I've done a lot of work with arthritis over the years, and when I first started doing this a long time ago, there'd be people coming with like safety pins through their zippers and stuff like that. I didn't get it at first. And here, because the zippers were too small, so it made it bigger. Or you put a paper clip through. Now they have little things you can clip on, and they make it fancy and all this. So there's money, like a zipper extender or something like that. If they have zippers, no, it's not zippers so much. It's Velcro and with a loop or something like that. So that's like, I'm talking a little bit about bathing and dressing. So there's like little fancy things. This is more I think the issue of the hand or something like that. Let's see here, and going toward that direction a bit more, one of the common things that we'll see is people who have arthritis in their hands or shoulders or whatever, with reaching and such. But one of the common areas like hips and knees, and then the thumb joint to the base thumbs, and that's kind of like the power joint of our hand. So we squeeze on things, the power generates through there. If it hurts, it doesn't feel really good. So all the things we take for granted. Now you'll see now in 2026 things have changed. Like they've changed like how bottles open now and cartons and things, because people have issues. So it's like they're making milk cartons with little spouts on the side rather than trying to dig their thumbs in and things. And there's a lot of that stuff like that. There are a litany of different jar openers on the market. I didn't order one yet, but on Amazon, there's an electronic jar opener now. You push a button and it spins the jar, and it's like $25. I had 2 patients order them. I haven't heard anything about it. So, but yeah, it kind of sits down, and the jar comes open that way. But there's the old Rubbermaid thing and things like that. And therapy. This comes wrapped in plastic. We have the old Dyson you may have seen. I don't know if you've seen something. Look at that, Phil. It just gives leverage. It's stickier than the Rubbermaid.
Okay.
So yeah, opening a jar or something like that, or if a plate is slippery, you can put it on the plate, and the plate will stay put a little bit more.
I know.
I didn't bring a plate.
Yeah, I have that
Yeah.
rubber,
Yeah.
which I can't find half the time.
Yeah. So this has been around for a long time. We use this, but we use this if a plate slides around. We can use this on different. Like I have people who can't hold on to the handle. Where this one gives them a little bit more force that way. But the jar opener is like a real good one. So if you get 2 pieces, is put a piece underneath and a piece on top, and it kind of gives you a little more leverage that way. And yeah, they sell this on Amazon too. But we have this.
Do you use like, I have like the ball things that you squeeze. Do you think that's good for your hands?
It depends on the circumstance. It's good to keep moving. It's good to keep loose. But if you're having little arthritis issues and it's kind of hurting it a little bit, there might be other ways around that a little bit. Or it might be that we just have to get things moving a little bit better and then get to something like that. But yeah, and there's a ton of different things like that that are out there now too. They have little hand kits for arthritis on some of the websites and things like that. You gotta be careful with that, because I had somebody get one that had rubber bands with rings on them that you'll probably see open against resistance, and hurt their thumb, that kind of thing like that. So they have a little arthritis in the thumb. So everything you kind of to pick and choose and that kind of thing like that. So these things that kind of keep going, and just kind of give you an idea. I got some kitchen kind of gizmos here a little bit. This is thing here. This is a cutting board. Okay, so if you have your hands are bothering you or whatever, and if you want to cut an apple or something like that, this is a cutting board with 2 stainless steel nails. Right? So you put the apple down on the cutting board, then you have 2 hands to work. So it's a good thing. This is an old version of this. They have fancier new ones out now that are plastic with a lip on the side that you can hold something in against. And so this is, they call it an adaptive cutting board. So, but that's stuff like that. We'll do this also if somebody has an injured arm and they only have one arm to work with, a broken wrist or something like that. So I'm not saying you have to get anything like this. These aren't the cheapest, but there are all kind of little crazy things. I think I've seen them now with they have graters on them, so you can suction cups down and things like that. Let's see here, and let's see. So one of the things that is a very common thing that we'll see now in stores is like the thicker handles, and it looks cool, but because people over the years, as we get older, thumbs bother us, it's easier on the hands, it's ergonomic. So it's like a thicker handle, but these are called good grips. So the thicker handles, good grips by OXO.
Are they also good for Parkinson's or no?
I have a couple things for Parkinson's, but yes, there's a version of this. Did I bring one? There's something right here for Parkinson's. So the good grips are nice from the standpoint of arthritis, but it's also nice just to hold on to. It's rubber, you can throw it in a dishwasher and things like that, but sometimes if the thumb's bothering it makes it a little easier to hold on and keep going that way. So this is all for sale on the internet too. This thing here is called a rocker knife, and if you're not having trouble with your hands, don't worry about that. But what the advantages to that is, if the hands are bothering you and you have something softer, you can kind of pin it down and then rock through it. And these actually, if you're one hand, if you have a broken wrist or something like that, trying to get through that, these actually are pretty cool. And people, what we do now is we show people what these things are, give them an idea, and then they find the cheapest ones and order. And they'll come in like a kit with like these kind of things like for $15, $20, something like that. So one more thing, and then I'll show you a couple things for like Parkinson's and things like that. So they have fancy pistol grip kind of things too. I didn't bring my knife, but they have pistol grip knives you can saw through things, or pistol grip spatulas. So the advantage of that is instead of like deviating the wrist to pick something up, your wrist is straight and you can kind of pick things up and it takes a little pressure off the wrist that way. So they do have a bunch of different tools, knives, and things like that with different handles. Yeah, good. This might be good grips. This might just be one of the adapted pieces. They'll do the same concept with garden tools. They'll have shovels that kind of shape like this, so it's easier. There's a whole bunch of things. That was another talk that I have on garden tools and things like that. But I've done in a while. But let me see. So that's that. So one more thing. Going back to this sticky stuff again. Take a guess at what something like this is.
Well, that's cool. I don't know what it is. I don't know.
We used to put this up for Occupational Therapy Month, and we said, well, Ralph will guess what this
Guess
is.
what this is?
I don't know, I've never seen that.
There you go. So if you have like a washing machine with the straighter handles, yeah, that's an alternative.
My sister has severe rheumatoid arthritis, and she's really, you're talking about the thumb, so she's really having a grip issue.
Yes, yes. All this would be relevant for her, absolutely. And they have like different shaped ones too. Like if we could go get a pump her on gas now, unless you can find a station that does it. They have little cap ones that go on the gas cap.
She's having, sometimes when her hands are really bad, she has trouble even gripping the steering wheel.
Sure.
So she's thinking about, I told her she has to go to adaptive driving because we had them here.
Yeah.
And they said you can't just buy one and put one in.
Oh, the knob. Yeah, you have to be cleared by the state. So but like they have like the wraparound leather material that you can put on the steering wheel, make it thicker. Then they have ones that heat too. I think you can have like a heating, thicker driving situation or the steering wheel. But yeah, like if you have to do a knob or something, you have to go through something like that. Does she live nearby here, or was she?
She lives in Seward, up near Johnstown.
We have a clinic up that way in Johnstown. Like UPMC has like UPMC, it's like Altoona or something like that. So I don't know if that might be a thought. But yeah, these kind of things like that, what I'm showing you, oh, that's all relevant, 100% sure. So I got more, I just didn't bring them up, it's just to get you thinking about that kind of thing. So the trick again, type in like arthritic grip or arthritis with using scissors. And then they have scissors that, these are older, they have newer things with springs on and stuff like that, but I bring these out, they're like, and people are like, wow!
Yeah.
So they little snips, little grabbers and things like that. But yeah, this little things just to cut. Because a lot of times with the arthritis, we can close a little bit easier, but opening up becomes a problem. So that's something to consider that one.
What do you think of like surgery for your hands?
Depends on what the circumstances are and what the needs are. Very commonly, like the knees and the hips, they'll do a surgery for the base of the thumb where we have lots of problems. We see a lot of that through my clinic, and the doctors, it's a great surgery. It comes out, people, similarly, like if you're hurting for a long time and you have a knee, I'm like, oh man, why did I wait so long or something like that. It's the same thing with the thumbs too. It's painful at first, but then it kind of starts to work out pretty good. So depends on what the needs are.
Well, it's the rest, like fusing them.
Yeah.
Fused.
I would just start getting a little therapy going and go from there and see if you can keep things flexible and loose. And there's there's wraps to kind of help with swelling and things like that.
No, I know, like not what do they call it? Not wraps, but another word.
tape. So we use stuff called Coban for things like splinting, you mean, or something like that, or something, or orthoses, something. But and there's other different kind of interventions too, like using heat or ice, or we have things called fluid therapy. There's paraffin, hot wax, and things.
Red
like
light
that.
therapy?
Red light therapy is actually a thing, I think, that's starting to become. There's some research behind it, still early on, but I'm interested in that. So it can't hurt. Essentially, you're just in front of a red light, kind of getting things kind of exposed to that light wave, and it helps with inflammation or something, and helps with mitochondria or something. Like
Yeah,
that. So,
well, what about like stem wave? Which they do.
I've seen that. I don't know much about that. Yeah, there's a lot happening out
I
there.
think so.
Yeah, and there's other things
Yeah.
now, there's like pulsed electromagnetic frequency. People are doing cold baths and things like that. I don't have any issue with any of that, but there's like doctors that especially do acupuncture, and they'll help with arthritis pain. It won't make the things change so much, but it makes them feel better too. So I'm good with all that kind of stuff like that. So the little cutters and things like that. Question about Parkinson's or tremoring and things like that. There are a lot of things out for that, and this is kind of a newer one. It's called a steady spoon, and it kind of like has like a gyro. So if a person has some issues with tremoring, it might hold the spoon a little bit more stable to kind of do. So there are newer, higher end things too. This isn't that expensive, but there are like ones that are a lot more, I think a little bit more involved with that. But yeah, something along these lines for somebody who has tremors is one of the things that are now out. So I'll show people these things at least, and at least if they're interested, they might look that up, and that might be something reasonable enough that it might not be covered. But here, they have that.
I guess with all the people getting older, all the boomers.
Yes, all the boomers.
I don't know what this
with-
calls for.
So like if you're tremoring, so you go down to get something to eat, and that would kind of stabilize it, so that way you want to hold it. So that ball will it tries shaking your hand a little bit, so it'll kind of hold it a little bit more. So
tremoring.
Yeah, don't worry about
Let's
that.
hope I
Let's not worry about
have
that.
to worry about that.
But just they're here. These will fill to this thing.
My friend's brother made him, someone wouldn't make him because his tremors were so bad.
Give them something like original would be kind of cool. But so you can knock somebody out with that. So that's a weighted utensil.
Yeah.
So if somebody has tremoring, sometimes that is worth a try. So they do sell nice looking, fancier kits of weighted utensils. There are, let's see here. There are fancy weighted wrist, like it supports like almost like a bracelet, but it's kind of discreet. But the weight sometimes if somebody has tremors can kind of calm that a bit. Not for everybody, but so then they have like hand-based weights that will mess with. And sometimes that kind of calms the tremor and helps somebody kind of move a little easier. So that's like a 1 pound cuff weight that has a thumbnail and such. So those are all kind of things to explore. So if you know anybody who has any issues with something like that. And so the same concept. Here you go. You can knock somebody out with one of these too.
Oh.
That's
Yeah.
that is the economy size version, but so that's if somebody has tremoring, that's it's weighted obviously, and then they have versions of this where the weight is more discreet. They're not cheap, but
You can't put a new pencil in there?
they have variations,
But
but
I mean-
these are like for the big thick pencils, yeah.
But does this pencil come out?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
there's a little Allen screw in there, so it'll
Okay.
unscrew.
Okay.
Yeah, but
So you said once that gets going, you're
yes.
stuck.
Oh yeah, so yeah, it'll unscrew, but these are bigger, but they have all kind of variations on it. They'll have pens that look more like a pen, but it's weighted, And for some people, that's great. For some people, not so much. But there's options for that kind of stuff like that. So for tremoring, we'll do something weighted, and like the rocker knife, there's a weighted rocker knife, which actually works out pretty well for people too. So, and then another type of a fancy pen. This is called a pen again. So with your mom, maybe if the thumbs are hurting, you put it in here and you turn that out.
And it matches your shirt.
I was gonna say.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what I
matches
did.
your outfit.
And put your index finger.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh. This actually helps.
Does it?
Yeah, they're called Penagans. That's an Amazon.
Pen again.
Pen again, P-E-N-A-G-A-I-N.
Okay, I like it.
I wish I had known
You get one for every
Yeah, really.
outfit.
You should come
They
and
come
it
with a package of 3 or
Yeah.
$10, something like that. So.
Pen again. You'll remember. I was
I'll
gonna
try.
remind.
Well, it's like Shannon has my contact information, so.
Interesting, Amy.
Yeah, that's everybody I pulled that off for. This is like we found this like in the last
I
2
like
years.
that.
Yeah, that is really.
Because we used
That's
to
how
do.
you're supposed to hold your pencil
Yeah,
right
so-
directly again.
So we put like thicker foam to make it bigger too, which this is just foam tubing, which we can put this on a razor or a pen.
I like that thing done.
Yeah, that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
So,
Feels good on your hand.
Yeah, it
Yep.
does.
yep. So that just showing you that too. So, and then it's like the foam, like with hands, like with your mom or something like that. In the old days when we first started doing this, the old spring curlers. So to hold a brush or something like that, a rat tail comb, they put the spring curl on and make it thicker. So then you modify that. So this is just old foam tubing. So this can slip onto anything. It's just to make things thicker a little bit. So for some people who need help with, so I have people who come in and they'll go get pipe insulation from Home Depot. So I'll help them like a bigger handle things, like even padded cane handle or something like that. So, but we have different sizes and bevels. Like we have small pieces, and then you've seen like little things that slip onto pens and things like that. We still will do that occasionally, but nowadays pens are adjusted and fancy. They sell these things at Walmart, things along those lines too. But let's see, anything else? Any questions about anything here, or any questions about stuff? Let me think about anything else here that you're thinking about. Let's see. So that's a kind of a little bit of gadgets that I bring. So in therapy, we'll talk through things, and then if something needs to be addressed, at least we can kind of point a person in the direction. We might have a little gadget or something